Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Rebbe, and this is episode 124. And this is going to be an epic episode. It's going to have all of the epic facts of Makkot Arove, which it feels like we've learned so many Makkot, but we're only up to Makkot number 4, right? We did Dam, Tzvardeya, Kinim. We just did the facts of Kinim this week, and now Arov. We're up to Arov, but it feels like it's been so many. Arov is the wild beasts. So we're going to learn about the amazing facts about Makkot Arov. And I know in the past they gave you an assignment that you should take a picture of the facts after you write them, right? So you're going to need your notebook in today's lesson. You're going to have to write down the facts. I know that I've given you an assignment where you take a picture, but for tonight, all I'm going to ask is that you write it in your notebooks, and then in tomorrow's Zoom lesson, when we do the Haggadah. So before we do the Haggadah, we are going to ask everybody to show me in their notebook, or at least tell me if they wrote their facts. So be ready to do that. Scratch that, because you're going to do this after. So basically, you're going to show this to me in Friday's Zoom lesson. Instead of tomorrow taking a picture of it, show it to me when we have a Zoom lesson on Friday. Okay, so let me get right to it. Okay. And so we got these psukim that we learned yesterday that we filled in. Psukim Tet Zayin to Chaf, and we mentioned that Hashem told Moshe to go give Paro a warning, and he told him that you're going to have a plague of wild beasts. Now here in this pasuk, we basically see a good pasuk for your Makkot project, because every Makkot has to have a title page, and on the title page, you have to have a pasuk where you write out the pasuk, and you put quotations, and you write what the pasuk is, Yud Zayin, and what parak it is. This is parak Chet. So, but this is a great pasuk to have, because it basically tells you, all of the different everything that's talked about in this Makkah. Okay, so it's going to fill up the houses of the Mitzrim. It's going to go into the servants and your nation, your houses, and it's going to go on the streets. So it's all in this Rash. It's all in this pasuk. If you're going to add for some nice effects, remember the message of my daughter, the amazing artist, which was here. She was with us the other night, telling us really to put in our effort for this Make It Count. So you have this Rashi over here, which we did that PowerPoint, and how Hashem, when he sent the Makkot, besides all the reasons we're learning about, but they also together, all 10, was like the way kings attack another country, follows the order of war strategies. So you can add something, a quote from that Rashi, and have maybe a picture. You decide, as if it's an army attacking. And then we have this other pasuk. Hashem says that Goshen, there's not going to have any animals going around over there. Goshen's going to be separated. And then there's another pasuk, V'samti b'dut. I'm going to make a separation. Of course, there's no Rashi on this, but the obvious question is, why does it have to say v'hifleti, one pasuk, and v'samti b'dut? Seems like both psukim are saying the same exact thing. a separation in two psukim, one pasuk after the other. So that's going to be explained in one of the interesting facts on Makkot Arove, and then by Yas Cain, and this is the pasuk that says when it actually happened. So now that we just did a quick review of these psukim, which should all be filled out in your, you look at this picture, it's really amazing, the lion and all the different animals there. But you should have this all filled in. And so we're going to go now and go through the facts. So Makkot Arov, fact number 1. So what's fact number 1? Everybody remembers, it's just talking about what the Makkah was. A mixture of many different animals attacked Egypt. The next fact, so you can go ahead and write that down, pause the video and write that down. Once you wrote it down, you can rejoin. So the next fact is the Midah Keneged Midah. Why did Hashem choose to attack the Egyptians with wild beasts? Now you might be thinking, oh wait, wild beasts, Hashem attacks them with war strategies, and the wild beast was like the heavy artillery. That's what we explained in that video. So, but this is another reason why. There are many different reasons Hashem attacked the Egyptians with wild beasts. This is going to be more specific to just why wild beasts. Maybe if we would be in class right now, I would ask you to think about it yourself. So you can think about it yourself, pause the video, and think to yourself like, what could it be? Wild beasts. So listen to this. If you can't figure it out, it's unbelievable. This is an unbelievable fact. The first one, it's not as unbelievable, but they would frighten us like bears in the middle of the night. So let's say if you saw a bear in the middle, like you get, right? So you would be scared out of your wits when you see that. So they would sometimes suddenly in the middle of the night break into our houses, and just because they could, just because they could, they would just, because they were our masters. So they came in and broke in and woke us up and said, get out, start working. And they would force us out to work. So they frightened us like bears in the middle of the night. And so they got it. But this second reason is really one of the most epic reasons about the Makkot and the Midah Keneged Midah. It's one of my all-time favorites. They made sport. They ordered us to catch wild animals. In other words, they had a competition between their slaves that let's send out our slaves today. So Mitri A would say to Mitri B, I have a slave, you have a slave. Okay, how about we do this? Let's send them to capture snakes for us. And let's see if your slave comes back alive or my slave comes back alive. Or even if they didn't compete, they would send Jewish slaves to get wild, dangerous, poison animals for them, just because they could. And then they would also compete to see, let's see if my slave can outlive your slave. So that was just terrible, just totally humiliating. And that's why Hashem brought these wild beasts back on the Egyptians. So that's just an unbelievable, interesting fact on Makkot Arov. Interesting fact number 3 just gives us an idea of what kind of animals were attacking. So we know lions and bears and elephants, of course, all of these things, snakes and scorpions, but some of the things that attacked that are a little less well known is, let's take a look. An akhbar, the measure says an akhbar is a weasel. These things got nasty. These things got aggressive. You know, it's like when you have a rabid dog or you have a rabid raccoon coming at you, it's scary. These usually timid animals that, like squirrels or something, that don't normally do anything to us. Little cats, these stray cats in our alley cats that we see in our neighborhoods, chickens, all these things. These are the types of animals that went crazy aggressive. A tsav is a turtle. Whoever would imagine turtles becoming aggressive? But the Medrash says they had zochale afar, which means a poison. These were poisonous turtles, flies, tzirah. Tzirah was this bird that the Navi talks about, which could shoot a poison into the eyes of its enemy from a great distance and had spot on aim. That also came to attack. The pirosh, the pishpesh, the yitush. So those are different types of gnats. Yes, gnats. These gnats, they were like, like these, like fruit flies, right? Winged little creatures, insects. They went into their eyes and ears. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. If you ever have those things happen to you when you're if you're ever in the summer where it's a hot climate and you're somewhere in the, you get that, and that's also what they had in Arove. Now this is wild. Okay, there was something called a Silonis, and it was this huge animal, not like Godzilla or something like that, but a huge animal that came out of the sea. And it would climb up on their roofs and literally remove the roofs from their houses. And it would go inside the Egyptians' houses and open the doors so that more animals would come in. When you think about Arove, you imagine these things, it's nothing like you ever imagined. But the type of pictures that you can do for your Makkot, by the way, for your Makkot project, just the Silonis. Imagine whatever it is. Imagine a huge whale or this huge sea monster coming out of the water and climbing on the Egyptian houses and pulling off the roofs. Those of you that can draw these things it would just knock the roofs right off of the houses. Okay. So interesting fact number 4, the animals came with their habitats in order to remove their inhibitions. An animal, usually when it sees you, it's scared of you. But if you go into a forest, you're there for the taking. They're not scared of you anymore. They don't feel comfortable in our neighborhood, but if you're in their neighborhood, they feel comfortable. So Hashem brought imagine a polar bear. When it went into Egypt, it literally was on a glacier. It was walking as if it was on frozen ground, and it felt that it was in its own habitat. Okay, and similar to all these other animals, they brought the forests with them, so to speak. It wasn't. It turned Egypt into a forest. If you ever seen Jumanji, all right, the movie, the old one, the new one. I don't know about the new one, but the whole neighborhood turns into. When I saw that movie, I started to understand what it means. He brought the habitats with the animals, because the whole area turned into a jungle. So the Egyptians felt like they were literally in a jungle, and the animals felt comfortable. They were able to attack the Egyptians the way they would have felt comfortable doing so. Interesting fact number 5. This is just one of these really out there facts, okay? Just totally out there. There's this animal called a Yidoni. Okay, the Yidoni cannot move from where it's created because it has something, its belly button, its navel is like hangs out, it's long, and it's attached to the ground. So it can only circulate. It's very long. The navel is like extremely long. So let's imagine like 20, 30 feet, but it can't go forward. It's like it's on a leash. But if you ever come across that navel, you're finished. You're dead meat. It's the most scariest, most dangerous animal. Hashem brought that animal into Egypt. Okay, so you have the Yidoni. Interesting fact number 6. So you would think that after the wild beasts left, so everything was back to normal. No. This is because if you look at one of the last psukim that we just read, the land was destroyed from the Arove. The commentaries say the snakes put poison, put venom into the entire ground of Egypt, into the water. nothing could be grown there for years. It was actually something like this happened in the 1700s in Krakow. There was like something, a poison that went into the water. They couldn't drink the water for many years. That's what they had to do. So the snakes actually poisoned the ground after they destroyed the produce, and they couldn't grow things there for a long time after that. And then we move to the very last fact, or second to last fact. It says twice Hashem separated. That was what we said we were going to talk about. Why does it say twice? One it says vefleti, one it says basanti bedut, because not only was there no animals in Goshen where the Jews lived, but let's say a Jewish person would walk into the Egyptian area where they lived. In that case, the animals would run away from the Egyptian. He would attack everyone, the Jewish person, I'm sorry, attack everyone except the Jewish person. Now you might say, what if the Egyptian would stay near the Jew? Would the animal not attack? The answer is it would still attack. And what if the Egyptian jumped on the Jewish person? The animal would attack the Egyptian and rip the Egyptian off of the Jewish person and not touch the Jewish person. All the animals were instructed by Hashem. They were not to attack the Jewish person, and somehow they knew who was Jewish, who wasn't. And no matter what the Egyptians tried to do, they were not safe from these animals. And finally, interesting fact number 8 is a Rashi that we're going to learn about in our next Chumash lesson next week. Basically, instead of killing them, instead of killing these animals, like Hashem killed the frogs, when the frogs were stopped, when the Makkot, the frogs stopped, all the frogs were dead, Hashem didn't kill the wild animals when the Makkot was done. They all went back to their homes. Why not? Why didn't he just let them all die? Because if they did all die, then they can take off the skin from the animals and you use it to make shoes, use it to make leather, use it to make fur coats. All these things are expensive, and that would have given the Egyptians a lot of extra money, and that was not the point. The Makkot were not supposed to give any benefit whatsoever to the Egyptians. So that's why Hashem specifically had them go back when the Makkot was over. Wow, 8 unbelievable facts about Makkot Arove. The descriptive fact, the Mida Keneged Mida, what was in the Arove. The animals came with their habitats, that animal known as the Yedoni. Don't forget that animal called the Salonas from the sea that took off the roofs. The animal that the snakes poisoned the ground, that the Goshen was separate, but anytime a Jew went into Mitzrayim, they weren't attacked, and finally the animals went right back. Just all super facts on Wild Beasts. You're going to know these Makkot so well. I'm so proud of all of you guys. Kol hakavod. And remember, write these tomorrow into your notebooks, and the next time we have a Chumash lesson, instead of posting a picture on Google Classroom, I'm going to check your homework on our Zoom lesson. So if you're not there, for whatever reason, I can't give you credit for it. So make sure to be at the Zoom meeting to show me that you wrote down your facts. By now, you should also have your life facts. I hope you do that, and everything else. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.